Hello and welcome to Breast Friends Cancer Support Network, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Michelle Beck. I am a two-time, almost 10-year survivor of breast cancer. I work at Breast Friends of Oregon, and when I have time, which is not very often, you can find me on social media or my blog at I Never Liked Pink. So today I'm super excited because I have a woman here, Dana Donofree. Did I say that right?
Donofree.
Donofree. Okay. And she is the founder and CEO of AnaOno, an intimates company for thrivers, survivors, women who've gone through breast cancer, and really anyone who wants comfortable, intimate wear. And I love it because one of their taglines is they are all boob inclusive. And that includes if you have no boobs, one boob, two boobs that you weren't born with, or anything in between. So she founded AnaOno after going through cancer treatment herself because she couldn't find anything that she liked that was comfortable and didn't pinch or twist or work for her new body. So she started this company. She has a background in fashion and merchandising, but she really has put her entire heart and soul into this company. And she was one of our, as I think I mentioned, are the original guests of the show back when Becky and Sharon did it in 2016. And so much has changed, and we're going to talk about the evolution of the company over time. So Dana, thank you so much. Welcome for being here today.
Oh, thanks, Michelle. I'm so excited to be here.
Wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, the non-cancer stuff. We'll get there.
Oh, you know what? I kind of love that. I mean, my non-cancer stuff, that nobody ever starts with that one. So
there was a whole part of us before we had cancer, and even after. I mean, it is a huge part of our lives. But
I'm like, wait,
tell me about you otherwise.
Where do I start? I don't start at where I was diagnosed at 27 years old. No, I love this. So I live in Philadelphia with my husband of now. He's he can be considered my cancer husband. We had to postpone our wedding when I got diagnosed, but we've been married for just about as long as I've had cancer, and which is 12 years. But I live in Philadelphia with him and my cutest dog, Hooch. Who is 11 years old. And I'm a proud auntie to my sister's beautiful 3 children. I'm their godparent. And I do what I can for joy and happiness in my free time, but mostly what I do all day, every day is run and manage AnaOno, which I'm so excited about. And I'm really lucky that I get to do something I love every day. And yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. I love what I do. I love advocating for breast cancer and informing and educating, and I love hanging out with my fam. So
perfect. And it's what you said is so important, that you love what you do, because so many people are incredibly unhappy with whatever they do as a job or their career. And so many people who I love talking to them about it, they go through cancer and they either do 100, a complete 360 in what they choose to do because they want to give back or share information. But you kind of took what you were doing a little bit and really streamlined it because you wanted something for yourself, but also to help other women who've gone through it. So that's huge. And it makes it much easier to do your work every day when you enjoy it.
Oh my God, absolutely. I realize how incredibly lucky I am. I have for my whole life. I've been a fashion designer my entire life. And I can say that because I started making clothing when I was 8 years old and selling it to my friends. So legit.
Total really, entrepreneur.
Really. Yeah, always. And it is, you are surrounded by people in most cases that just like, you're either just showing up to collect the check or chasing the paper and like are miserable. And I just, especially after breast cancer, I was like, I am not doing a single thing in my life that does not bring me joy, because life is too short and I don't have any time to waste it on people, places, or things that I do not enjoy.
That is so perfect. I turned 50 last year, and especially coming up on my almost 10 years from my first diagnosis, I have no more F's to give. Like I do what I want. And I mean, yes, I have responsibilities and family and I love what I do, but I'm really much more protective of my time and myself. Because as you said, like, we don't know what's going to happen. And if we're not enjoying what we're doing, it's why do it?
Well, time is now an asset, right? It really does time has a definition after you've been faced with something really traumatic, especially like a cancer diagnosis. Like for me, I was 27 years old. So I thought I was untouchable. I thought like the life was for the living and I could do whatever I wanted to do. And I could drink as much as I want, and party as hard as I want, and travel as much as I want, and work as much as I want, because like the world was my oyster, you know? And now it's like 12 years later, I am now 40. I never thought I was going to get the opportunity to turn 40. Like it was like a big milestone birthday for me. And there was just this reality that time is limited. And if I don't make the best out of it every moment I have, then I'm going to have too many regrets that I didn't do what I wanted to do. And that's a very real thing when you live the life as a young breast cancer patient, is that you lose people very, very often.
Yes, unfortunately, we've experienced that at Breast Friends a lot in the past few years, and it is devastating, but we continue to do what we do because of those that are still out there and in loving memory of the others who have passed.
It's absolutely right. And to see the hard work that we all put in for one another, whether we're early stage or terminal, is to me like one of the special pieces of this community, because what the founders before the founders have built, you know, still can live on, right? These legacies and the ways that people dream of touching and helping and supporting others, like it exudes beyond just themselves. And that to me is such a beautiful piece of seeing those that are diagnosed with breast cancer step out and do something about it, because we know that there's a lot of work still left to do. And small organizations that help people locally, or large organizations that are funding research, right? They're all important for their bits and pieces that they have. And, you know, I mean, I have so many organizations and friends that I've lost over the last 12 years. And it's just, you know, they're all still there and still helping people. And it just makes me so proud.
Well, you should be. So really quick, give me the short synopsis of your cancer, because we have so many other things to talk about.
Yeah, no. So here's my cancer intro. But I mentioned I was diagnosed a day before my 28th birthday, and that was in 2010. So we were living in a very different world in that era. But that's where I found myself. And I think at that point in time, the youngest person I was diagnosed to with cancer had just turned 50 years old. And at 27, that's a pretty large gap. She was
it definitely used to be an old woman's disease. And I say
Absolutely.
that with much love, but times have changed.
Times have changed. And honestly, it wasn't that it was that different. We just weren't talking about it. We didn't have the same level of exposure. We didn't have the same insight. I mean, we do see cancer diagnoses happening sooner in a lifetime than what they were happening 20 and 30 and 40 years ago. That is statistically noted. It's scary that it's starting to jump down by decades and become increasingly dangerous for younger people. And, you know, it was a really crazy time to get diagnosed with this little tiny itsy bitsy bump I found while I was in the shower. And yeah, that phone call to the doctor didn't turn out to be nothing. It turned out to be the biopsy that led to, you know, the MRIs and the PET scans and the CT scans and the diagnosis. And I was diagnosed stage 1 invasive ductal carcinoma, HER2 positive, ER positive, PR negative. So I had done 6 rounds of chemotherapy, a bilateral mastectomy with reconstruction, a year of Herceptin, and 8.5 years of hormone suppressant drugs. So I am proud to say that this last December was the first time I felt cold since my diagnosis, because I had taken myself off of all of the medication, because I couldn't do it anymore. And if I was going to live my life, I was going to live it the way I wanted to. And
I'm 100% with you. I actually just made that decision for myself. I hit the 5-year mark and my quality of life was down the tubes. I felt like I was 100 years old, and I've been off now for almost 2 months, and I'm so happy. Like I can do things. I went on a 2-mile walk yesterday with a friend, which doesn't sound like much, but I felt great. And I'm back on my Peloton, and like I feel like a human being again. So, you know, there are many women out there who do go longer term, but for me, I was like, I can't, I'm done, because I was not happy.
Well, it got the same. My quality of life was then immeasurable. And
Yes.
some people don't have a choice, right? We know our
Mhm.
stage 4 counterparts have to
Yes.
fight and battle through that pain and that angst every single day of their life. And that's really, really difficult. And, there was a lot of me understanding my friends with stage 4 that really heavily both impacted and informed my decision to take myself off. And yeah, I mean, it got to I could not get out of my bed in the morning.
Mhm.
Couldn't do it. So I had to like swing my legs over to the side of the bed. I had to like tippy toe on the floor. And then I had to like start bending and kicking my legs like a 90-year-old.
Yeah.
I would imagine that's how I'm supposed to feel when I can't get out of bed at 90. And then I would stand up and I would just have to stand there until like the blood finally made its way through my legs. And then I would like creep into the bathroom. So and then I had to walk up and down the hallway before I could even take my first flight of stairs. I mean, it was just, I was like, this is not, if I needed to do this, I would do it. But the reality is that at what cost? And I really had to sit down and say, at what cost am I putting myself through this? And if my cancer comes back, my cancer will come back and I will deal with that, because at this point, 8.5 years on those awful medications was enough.
Yes. And that's kind of actually will lead me to my next question, was how you formed your company, because you were in survivorship, which is a struggle. There's so many parts that are hard, but trying to find something comfortable to wear post mastectomy, because you were young at that point. You were 28. You still wanted to wear cute, sexy things, with your fiance and kind of feel somewhat normal, but it wasn't out there for you. So how did you decide, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to found this company because people need it and you needed it?
Twofold. I mean, you're right. People needed it and I needed it. And it was two things. I mean, one, I really kind of stepped back and I was like, there are no other young women with breast cancer. No wonder I'm the only one in this world with this problem. In 2010, I was like, young women don't get breast cancer, but somehow I did. And there's a reason why all of these bras look like grandma bras, because grandmas are the ones getting breast cancer.
Yes.
It just made sense to me. And I said, well, I can't be the only one. And I did start to join like a support group where we did yoga in Denver, Colorado for like the healing. So we did a lot of chest opening exercises and really trying to heal from the surgeries and just keep blood flowing from chemo. And I didn't get engaged in that until after my last breast reconstructive surgery. And I just went up to the yoga teacher and I asked her, I said, could I just ask the room a question? And so I was like, hey, what bras does everybody wear after surgery? And it was like, I just opened up Pandora's box. I realized the fact that we weren't able to identify with ourselves, self-express ourselves, dealing with the trauma of the mastectomies and the breast surgeries and the chemo and everything that is packed in on that. It was like I just opened up Pandora's box, because it was either these life hacks about how people were cutting their bras apart, putting them back together. One woman when I was in Colorado was like, you have to buy this wool bra from wool.
Because that sounds comfy.
Wool from one of the major, I don't know if it was Patagonia, North Face, or whoever it was, but it was for extreme female hikers that go into sub-zero temperatures, because my implants were going to get cold. Yes. Right? It was just it was all of these things. And I'm like, this is so wild. We're really sent out and pushed out into the world to just figure this all out ourselves. And that's when I started to investigate, because I realized it was my bra that was dictating so much of my life. I couldn't dress myself. I was 28 years old. So I was working every single day through my entire therapy. I didn't have the luxury to go home and heal and go home and recover. Because if I went home to heal or home to recover, I would have lost my car. I would have lost my house. I would have lost everything. And so I was working every day, and I'm trying to get myself into a boardroom where I'm wearing a t-shirt that's hiding my neon green sports bra straps. And I'm like, I can't live like this. Nobody should have to live in their sports bra. And then the other parts of yourself, right? I could not look at myself in the mirror. I don't have any nipples. The expanders looked I called them my SpongeBob square boobs.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I understood how a square peg could not fit into a round hole or whatever that saying is, because like my tits were square, like there was no round to them. Like the expanders that they have now, I'm like, oh, wow. Like that's an expander. I'm like always shocked because like mine were building blocks.
Mine were baseballs, hard as a rock and baseballs.
So hard, so hard. And I was just like, this is like, at that point, and like, I kind of understood why I couldn't wear things, but I also couldn't look at myself in the mirror. And so like, how was I supposed to like love or be loved if I didn't love myself, right? Like I went through at least a year of my life never looking in the mirror. Not until my mastectomy tattoo was I able to actually look in the mirror. And the pictures prove it, trust me. But there's just this like, you know, it's so wrapped up, and it was just because like I didn't feel comfortable. I was always uncomfortable if I was wearing a bra that I found in a store that I thought fit me. And so it like really did just, a lightning bulb went off in my body and in my head and was like, Dana, you actually have the skill set, the expertise, and the experience to do something about this. And all I knew was like, I was going to have to try. Like, I didn't know if I was going to sew bras at night when I came home from work and sell them on Etsy, or if I was going to have a store, or if I was going, you know, I had no idea what it was going to turn into. And speaking of like being back in the podcast in 2016, right? Like we just launched in May 2014. So how y'all even found me back then?
I think at that point they were Googling like anything to do with breast cancer because,
probably,
you know, and as their things were very different even 6 years ago. And I know neither one of us went back and listened, so who knows what they talked about then. But now you were still working full time though for quite a while you were developing AnaOno. Tell us about how that was for you.
Well, funny. I was working full time because I had to fund the business. I had a really successful career. I got paid a ton of money. And I'm very fortunate that I was able to take that money and apply it to my startup costs. And the reason is because, you know, when I started this business, nobody thought that this was a business. They just, people did not understand why somebody without breasts would want a bra. People didn't understand breast reconstruction. They didn't understand why a breast cancer cared about how they looked or felt.
Right. Shouldn't they just be happy they're alive? What do they need special bras for?
Right. Why should we feel beautiful and sexy? And why should we feel like ourselves? Why should we? Right. Like that was literally the questions I was answering. And it really made me feel crazy. It really made me feel like, am I making a problem out of nothing? And this is, again, a very big, different era. Victoria's Secret got challenged to, you know, carry mastectomy bras, and they publicly said, no, thanks, we're not interested. There was like a huge change.org with a mother and a daughter that like had all of these thousands of signatures for like Victoria's Secret to have a mastectomy bra because you couldn't wear anything in their store. And like, they were the go-to. Right. This is before e-com blew up with bra companies, and your Facebook ads are like full of bras. Like there just was so limited access. And I didn't know why the world was turning their backs on us. Like, we're not a small number of humans. We're a quite impactful position of a community. We're 1 in 8 women that get diagnosed. Well, and I feel like too, you know, it's the saying that is all the time, like it's the club no one ever wants to join, but has the best members. And I really, there is some special connection for women or, you know, those identify as non-binary in the cancer community. It's something that affects our womanhood and how we feel about our bodies, because breasts are so prominent as being a woman. And when that is affected, it's like really, it brings people together, as I feel like in a way that other cancers kind of don't. Well, it's very physical. It's physical and it's mental, because it compounds on itself. I mean, we are talking about amputating a part of our body, and that isn't just any part of the body. It is a sexual organ. So yes, it's going to be linked, whether or not you like your tits, right? It really has nothing to do with that. I mean, it does for some people, I shouldn't say that, but like, it's about like our breasts are not sexualized because people have sexualized them, but because they are sexual. Like, and we should feel that. We should want to keep our sexual organs attached to our bodies, and we should want to keep parts of our bodies attached to parts of our bodies. I mean, there's, you know, we are landslides ahead in testicular cancer and all of these others, because if we were always chopping off balls,
it would be a whole different story.
It'd be a whole different story, wouldn't it? Not to say that every male gets to keep his ball set, but most do, right? And I think that that's just the difference of where our treatment exists and where that impacts our overall health and well-being, and just how connected all of these things are. So we want to be sexual humans, right? Like, it's not a dirty word. Like, we are put on this earth to be that. And I felt like the world was just, because, and this goes back to like that start, right? Is because the world didn't understand what was happening to breast cancer patients, because all of the billboards, all of the stories were pink ribbon this, cheerlead this, tutu that, feather boa, yay, breast cancer. And you're like, no, I'm not jumping up and down with a smile on my face that I have a breast cancer diagnosis. I'm definitely not jumping up and down that I just chopped my tits off. Like, I'm not jumping up and down because my hair and eyebrows and eyelashes are gone and I have all of this chemotherapy and hormonal treatment, and the list goes on and on and on. And I've been through menopause twice before 40. We can go on and on and on about the things, but it's just like, we weren't talking about cancer appropriately. And that was a huge pivotal moment for me and AnaOno. Was I was like, why am I always explaining to everybody? I swear to God, it's going to come back around to your question. Why am I always explaining to everybody? That was like a chemo tangent right there. Why and what I'm doing and to who it's for. And I just identified that I have to explain what breast cancer is, because we don't know. People don't know that underneath these clothes, I don't have any nipples. People don't know, for some individuals that wear breast forms or have amputated one breast, that they're flat. Or those that have been living flat from mastectomies for the last 5 decades, you know, weren't saying, hey, openly, like, I don't have breasts here and I wear scarves and I wear ruffles and I do all these things to like attract the eye, because we're women, we adapt, we overcome, we fix our problems, we solve our issues. Like, this is ingrained in who and what we are. So it's like, I realized that we had to have a moment where we showed the world, or we had a discussion with the world about what breast cancer was. And that's when I was able to do that in 2017 at New York Fashion Week. And from there, it's just been like, now with Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all of these platforms and everybody sharing their story, I think we've advanced a lot. But there still are people. I mean, I said the other day on the call, I said, well, I don't have any nipples. And she goes, what? Right? So like, there's still this, like, this world of the unknown. So why did I work full time? It's because nobody believed I had a business.
Got it.
Because nobody knew or thought or realized that there's millions upon millions of people out there that need an alternative to like a bra that's made for humans with 2 breasts. Like, you can clout inclusion all day long, but you're not inclusive if you don't have bras for people that don't have breasts. Like, it can be skin tones, it can be sizes, but if you're still only dressing a 2-breasted human, you are now doing the complete opposite of being inclusive. And
100%.
That's
100%
fighting for the last 8 years.
Well, it's obviously a success because you're still here. You're now the full-time CEO. You were able to quit your prior career and transition it into this. Really quick side note, just because I know it's funny. Where did you come up with the name of the company?
Oh, so I love this. So AnaOno comes from my name, Dana Donofree, without the double D's.
I think that's hilarious. I was reading something about you or listening to another podcast. I'm like, that is awesome. I love that. Because, you know, it's funny to make it all about you, but not about you, you know, without the taking out the double D's, because you lost your boobs.
Well, the other funny part is that if you actually knew me before cancer, I was like a B cup on a period week. So my friends think it's really funny.
I love that. What is the, I know we've talked quite a bit about it, but what is the mission? Like, if you had to say, this is what I'm doing, what is the mission of AnaOno?
My mission is to just really impact and empower individuals where they are in life. I think that what's happened with AnaOno over the last 8.5 years is that we're, I love to say that we're more than just a bra. The bras are beautiful. The bras are insanely comfortable. I literally wear them every day. I don't produce anything that I cannot like wear test for an entire week. Like that's how obsessed I have to be with the style before it ever makes it out to anybody else. And it's just, and the reason why I say that is because what we have identified over time is that what we deal with and face as breast cancer patients is one extreme, but there's a lot of these extremes out there, right? There can be individuals that have had birth defects, where their breasts have developed and grown at two very rapid different rates. I've talked to mothers that have gone through plastic surgery just to have a renewed sense of confidence because their husbands have been beating them because they think that they're ugly. Like these things are real things in the world. We have a lot of really amazing conversations with those that are transitioning and going through gender affirmation surgeries. It's so interesting to me how the brand and how what we have offered as an alternative to the lingerie market has really just fed us with so many incredible, impactful stories of these intimate moments of our lives, right? And to me, like that's the mission, is I want to meet every single one of our clients where they are in life. It could be at a moment of struggle because they've just been diagnosed with breast cancer. It could be at a moment of confusion and maybe exploration because of the way that they want to change their lifestyle. It could be because they had breast cancer 20 years ago and had a awful reconstruction and they're getting a revision and it's kind of like triggered all of these old emotions and feelings that they had, but like we also weren't here 20 years ago to help them and now we are, right? So like for me, it's about meeting everybody where they're at and giving them the confidence. If they have breasts, if they don't have breasts, if they had the breasts and they lost them, if they had never had the breasts and they got them, whatever that is, like, it's just, we're so more intertwined with one another than what we ever realized. And I just want people to feel beautiful and feel comfortable and not feel like they're forced into some certain body type or body shape that they don't exist or have. And, or if they want to make it, they can make it. Like, it's like dealer's choice in our land. And I just want to, I just want to like share those stories and impact others, because I mean, we get notes and messages when we post somebody's story and they're like, I thought I was the only one dealing with this. I thought I was the only one with X, Y, or Z. And just that feeling, and that's why one of our slogans is never alone, because like just that feeling to know that you're not alone in this world and somebody has likely faced the same trauma, challenge that you have, that somebody else is there on the other. You may never meet, you may never talk, you may never connect, but at least you've read or heard the story, and that can impact you on deeper levels.
It is so important to realize that someone else gets it. They understand, they've been through, and what you've done for these people who've had issues with their breast is truly amazing. And it's obviously turned into a success because you've branched out into so many other things on your website. You have lingerie and loungewear, and it's all so beautiful. I will say I don't wear bras very often because I don't have to now, but I do have a whole, apparently I need to go on your website and buy some because I never have, but I live in tank tops. I didn't have nipple reconstruction. I had nipples tattooed for me, but and it's so many people still want the bra or whatever. And so I applaud you so much on that. But talking about sharing your stories, if you go on YouTube, you have a plethora of videos with women sharing what they've been through on your YouTube channel. And I love your initial Never Alone videos. Can you tell us how you came up with that idea? And
oh my God, it is so old school.
Explain it for those who haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your experience too, because it was funny, I always say just because you don't have to wear a bra doesn't mean you don't want to. And I think that that's a big experience. Like you said, you're like a tank top queen, right? Like that's your solution. It's also been 10 years and there's a lot of change. And like, for me, I was always hot with hot flashes. Like I cannot wear a camisole underneath my clothing. I am burning up to the sky. Like, and one more layer of something literally blows my mind. And these are like, again, dealer's choice, right? Like, so like having options for people that are camisole lovers or bra lovers, or maybe they only buy the bra to wear in intimate moments because they don't wear one all day long. So, there's all sorts of different ways and pathways, but either way, I'm hooking you up. So if now that you told me you don't have an AnaOno, forget it.
I know. I need to go online and I want that and that and that.
Yeah, exactly. But like every year for our anniversary, I go back to YouTube and I watch this incredible, outrageous video that I dreamt up in my head that was produced by a dear friend of mine, Tracy Birdsell, and her husband did all of the editing. Actually, he's a editor in California for Hollywood. And I just wanted this story of what I was dealing with, and both personally and as AnaOno to sort of be told in a video format. And I had met my dear late friend, Jill Conley, who passed away of stage 4 metastatic disease, like a year, maybe a year and a half after we shot the video. And she was really my muse. Like I met her, I fell in love with her. We knew we were creating the video. And then all of a sudden I said, I have a muse. I have somebody who I want to like be like Dana inside the video, because it wasn't going to be me. And as a creator, we just don't usually do that. But it was such a beautiful piece of like showing that struggle of like what it feels like to wake up every day and like just go through this like cancer conveyor belt, like going through those moments where you can't get out of bed, where you don't feel like getting out of bed, but then you're forced to get out of bed. And then you're forced to kind of like go around with your life with all of these solutions that just don't make sense for you. And one of them, like, to me, it's like you start your day with your underwear drawer. Like you wake up in the morning and you say, what am I going to wear today? And the first thing, either before or after your shower, you open up that underwear drawer. And just how debilitating that one simple pull of the underwear drawer was for me every morning, because I just looked at tons and tons of things I couldn't wear. I looked at all of this waste of money. I got so frustrated because I'm like, why in the world does nobody make a bra for me? And it was just like, I started my day every day with that very negative thought and feeling and pressure and all of that. And so it was just like the bra drawer was literally ruling my life. And I wasn't even, trust me, before cancer, I actually wear more bras today than what I did before cancer, because like I thought the hottest thing, as I mentioned, I was a B cup on a period week. So I almost never had to wear a bra. And I thought it was like the sexiest things to be like tits out and like a very low button shirt. Like I loved that look. Like that was the Dana look. And the fact that I just was like, had all of this angst over something I thought I never actually cared about was like really shocking. So it's like this reinterpretation of how controlling that, like that one action of my day really was over me, until I got so fed up. I actually take that drawer and I bust it on the ground, because like that is my moment that I get to start making my own decisions. That was the moment where I said, I am no longer going to let this be the thing that affects my life. I'm going to do something about it. And doing something about it was creating AnaOno. And then, we kind of go into this like fantasy land where we meet others that are like us and we see each other, and some of us have boobs and some of us don't have boobs. And it's just like, to me, I look back at it, I smile and I laugh a little bit because it was so goofy now looking back, but it was really powerful and amazing when we turned that.
No, I loved it.
Backwards, but yeah, that it will never haunt me. I will never be embarrassed by it, because to me, it was just a very special moment that I really set out to try to change the conversation.
Well, and how you also changed the conversation is your collaboration, where you ended up at the New York Fashion Week, which I find fascinating. So tell us about that.
Well, that again was an opportunity from my very dear late friend, Champagne Joy. And,
Best name ever, by the way.
best name ever, actually official real name ID and everything. And Champagne was just a force to be reckoned with. And Champagne honestly set me on my path forward for advocating for stage 4 breast cancer research, and really empowered me and impacted me in many, many ways in my life. But she was always in the art scene in New York. And she just, we were having breakfast one day. She says, I have an opportunity that you can't turn down. And I said, yeah, what is it? She said, well, I was going to do a New York Fashion Week show she had an organization called #Cancerland. And the designer pulled out last minute. Can you be my designer? And can you be ready in 2 weeks?
Like, sure. Let me think about that.
So I said to her, Champagne, as much as I love you dearly, like my background is in high fashion. So I've dressed celebrities from Beyonce to Oprah to Ellen to Christina Aguilera. I'm aging myself with some of these, but like that was my life. Mm-hmm. So New York Fashion Week is not nothing to me.
Oh no, it's, I'm not a fashion person at all. And I know how important that is.
Yeah, it's like the Oscars to fashion designers, right? Like you just like, it is the moment of the year, multiple times a year, twice a year. And I was like, Champagne, I love you, but I, as a designer, cannot do anything in 2 weeks with no staff, no people, no sample maker. I would have to make everything myself. And I literally don't have the bandwidth. I would never go out there and fail.
Sure.
So, and I said, so how about we don't, and this was in September. I said, how about we not do the September New York Fashion Week? Can you get that same opportunity for February? And she's like, so frustrated. She's like, oh, Dana, you can do it. And I'm like, no, trust me, I can't do it. She says, okay, let's go back. So we decided we would push it out to February. And the reason why I love the show is because we were talking with the producer of the show. And when we did the show in 2017, that CFDA, which is the Council of Fashion Designers of America, or association, something like that, deemed a woman's nudity by the sight and visual of her nipples.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And because of the show production, he had been dinged several different times with other designers, and the CFDA put him on like a warning.
Watch list.
Said,
yeah.
Yeah. If you do this, you will no longer be able to produce shows at New York Fashion Week. And I said, don't worry, you won't see any nipples.
Like, I will find you models without nipples.
And we did. I mean, some of our models walked out topless that were flat and had no breasts at all. And at the end, Aniela we coined her glitter tits, because she had glitter all over her body. And she's like, I want to step out at the end of the runway and I want to unhook this sexy bra and I want to fling it off. And then I want to show the world my nippleless boobs. And I was like, cool. Let's do it. Try it. And so when she took off the bra, when she got glittered, there must've just been so much gold glitter and the cups of the bra, which was not intended. She literally confettied gold glitter at the end of the runway. It was magical. The entire room just like uproared and went insane. And then I was like, we've done something here. And that's when we went viral on New York Times, like that night after the show.
And this is something that you've continued on every year. Isn't that correct?
We have up until COVID.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
It's really a bummer. So we have collectively raised almost $500,000 for stage 4 metastatic breast cancer research, just with that one activity from 2017 to 2020. And we're excited to get back to the runway. It's probably not going to happen in September, but maybe we'll be back in February. We just, we're cautious. It's a very risky environment. There's a lot of stage 4 community that comes to the show. And I honestly, I would not live with myself if somebody got COVID and had a very rough time with it, or super spreader event or whatever that might be, whatever. It's not safe in the environment that we can produce it in. So we're putting it off and trying to let the world heal a little bit.
That totally makes sense. And you've raised all this money also for stage 4, but you also support other organizations like the Breasties and Pink Warrior Advocates. Why is this a part of what you do?
It's in part that I want to give back as much as possible. From working with the Breasties, that helps bring community to younger patients and young communities. from Living Beyond Breast Cancer, where, the work is to educate and inform, Medivivor to fund stage 4 research. Pig Warrior Advocates, we do a bra assistance program with them. So if you don't have the financial backing, or cancer is just too much in your finances, you can apply to get what you need for your post-surgical garments through the organization. It's a part of my entire ethos, right? Like if I had time, I would create my own nonprofit that would do a lot of things. But to me, it's just like, I want to do what I'm really, really good at. What I'm really, really good at is designing and making product. And if I can partner and help and support all of these organizations doing incredible work, I would rather be able to do that, because to me, it takes an army, right?
Mhm.
AnaOno is one tiny piece of the puzzle for survivorship. Because we know it's like your beauty products. Like I remember going to buy all new beauty products. I've probably been through 50 different versions of organic deodorant. I'm still on that path. Like I'm still trying to find that deodorant that works.
I have to change mine out like every 2 months because it'll work and then it stops working. And
yeah,
so
you wear it, it stops working. I have a cycle. I have 3 brands that I cycle back and forth from. And
Yep.
you're absolutely right. I like shift in between all of the organic deodorants. I don't even know why our bodies do that, but they do.
Yeah.
Face creams, body creams, clothing, you gain weight, you lose weight. It's like, it is an unrelentless, like financial beast in our lives. Our diets, our food, organic versus non-organic. It's like the checklist just doesn't stop. And I want to be able to like create that ethos of saying like, I might not be able to support you with this exact issue, but here's an organization that can. Here's Unite for Her that can help you with alternative treatments. Here's Living Beyond Breast Cancer that has a great blog about your breast cancer. Here's the Breasties so you can meet another young woman and not feel alone. Like this is just like, to me, what we need to get through it all, because like it's a big pile of poo and we need each other.
100%. Are you familiar with the AIRS Foundation?
I love AIRS.
Okay.
AIRS is great. They help you fund your breast reconstruction if you're not able to afford it, which is incredible. There's also another one called Mission Plasticos as well in California. So if that's an option that you need, like, and again, like, it's like this resources are just plentiful, and organizations like you all, right? Like in groups, like we have to hear, talk, learn, and understand one another. And so much of that is through like work like this and podcasts and blogs. And, I just I love, like you said, our community has the best members because we care about each other just as much as we care about making a difference to those that are going to be afflicted by this disease.
Definitely. And one thing that you've done with AnaOno, you actually have, well, one thing on your website, when I was perusing it, I love that there are women all shapes, sizes, and colors. Like that is it, you are at the forefront of inclusivity and diversity on there. And so bravo on that, because not everyone has picked up on that yet, which boggles my mind.
It's true. And, I get a lot of recognition for it, which I, in some ways, don't feel like I deserve, because to me, it's like cancer doesn't discriminate, right? Like cancer literally affects all of us. So like, why wouldn't that be represented? But in all reality, it's like when I created AnaOno, that was a huge reason why. I was like, I am so offended, utterly, deeply, grossly offended, that I had to go to the internet to look for a mastectomy bra. I'm air quoting for those that are not watching the video, but are tuning in, because all I was getting delivered was like these beautiful, healthy, gorgeous busts and cleavage models. And I was just like, these people are gross. If that's what they think I need right now is like a reminder of how my breasts used to look, they are vastly misinterpreting their audience. And so like, to me, when I created, I was like, I'm going to show the bras on people that need the bras. Like, it was just a no-brainer to me. And really, I was the first brand that put actual breast cancer patients and survivors on the internet in a bra that showed scars. Like and trust me, when I first launched, people would talk to me like, are you sure that that's what people want?
Is that appropriate?
Is that appropriate? And I'm like, yeah, like we can't erase our port scars. I'm not going to put makeup on a porn scar to cover it up, or radiation tattoos, or if a scar is peeking out of the side of a bra, because some people care. Some people want their bras to pop out, or their scars to pop out and show them to the world. And some people are still really disturbed by it and want them covered up. So like, I want that person to know, is my scar going to show or not show? Because that means something to the people that we serve. So
I just bought a new bathing suit top and I have cherry blossoms on one of my breasts and it cut really low and one of them came out. I was like, oh, it's kind of cute.
it's super cute. Did you know my mastectomy tattoo is cherry blossoms?
I did not.
Yeah.
Twinsies. Yeah. I had a latissimus back flap on my left side. And so much more work on my left breast. So in addition to the nipples, that one has cherry blossoms on it. Well, I know there's your website, obviously, but is there a storefront or any way where women can actually go look for your products?
Yeah. I mean, we're mostly sold online, but we are carried in Soma. So if you do shop Soma, which also has a beautiful seamless line as well, that has like a really comfortable, like tank sort of style. But we are carried in Soma. So we're in 120 of them. You can come to our website and see which Soma stores we're located in. And then we have probably about 50 stores nationwide that carry us. Some actually, this is really, really important. If you've had a breast cancer diagnosis, or you've tried to prevent one, or you're preventing one with a mastectomy, as long as you have been diagnosed and you've had the mastectomy surgery or even a lumpectomy surgery, your bras are covered by your health insurance. So you can sometimes receive 4 to 6 bras a year that is covered by your insurance provider. All you need is a prescription from your doctor. And all you need is to look up one of our stores on the store locator to go grab, you know, the AnaOno bras. And if you want to buy them online, and you can submit claims to your health insurance, if you've got private insurance, it's usually the best. But we can always give you a reimbursable receipt where they'll give you some money back. They won't usually give you all money back, but they'll give you a portion of your sale returned as a part of the claim process. So it's a benefit that most patients don't even know exists.
And I had an idea about it, but literally I'm going to go send a message to my PA in the My Chart right now. Like, can I have my bra prescription, please? So I can go and buy some bras for myself. And one thing I love that you offer for in your line is you have different lines, I guess, called Recover, Reclaim, Reveal, and Revive. And, love the alliteration there, but tell us why you have those differentiations and what they are.
Well, the reason why there are all these iterations of is because I hate, disagree with me if you want, I hate the phrase, your new normal.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it was going to be the new normal. Yeah, there is no new normal. It's just like, what the fuck? Nothing is normal in any way.
So don't try to make it feel like it's supposed to be new and exciting when it's not. Like, I don't know what that means when like words contradict themselves, but like the new normal thing should be like that thing, whatever that is.
Oxymoron.
Thank you. That's what my chemo brain does.
Well, I would say that's one thing that I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like, to me, it's like we're reintroducing all of the things to our life that was familiar, that's no longer familiar. And that's why we use the iteration of because to me, it's like we're relearning, we're re-identifying the things that we want in our lives, right? And so when we recover, obviously that one's the easiest one. But like this reclaim, revive, reveal, relax, it's like all of these are parts of our collection that really are meant for the phases that we really truly go through as a cancer patient. So if we were to actually be introduced and be able to get into the life of somebody that's been newly diagnosed, they would start with recovery. That's giving them the actual garments and things that they need to get through their breast surgery. Our loungewear with the drain management pouches, which were the worst. Making sure that like you can stay as intact to your humanity and your identity as possible when you have what it is that you need to recover. And then the reclaim moment is when you're sort of transitioning, right? Like you're still a patient, you're still undergoing surgeries, you might be undergoing radiation therapy, you might have just finished those things, and you're so anxious and excited to like get back to life. But you also realize that you're kind of still in that push-pull zone where you're not really ready to jump all in, but you're trying to reclaim your identity and multiple facets of your life. And then, you know, you can jump to Reveal or Revive or, you know, some of the other collections, because that's about like getting back to your identity. So if the Reveal collection is meant to feel sexy, to redefine your femininity if you want it, to seek out your intimacy, right? Not for others, but for yourself. Treat yourself to that sexy black lace set of something, right? Because only you need to know that you're wearing it. I'm actually wearing like the sexy Gloria today. I feel really good in my moo
Nice.
dress. But it's just like, you know, like that's what that's like all about, is like kind of like taking you through the phases and the stages of life without like sort of forcing you into like, oh my God, I just got diagnosed. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where or how I'm supposed to be and where I'm supposed to, you know, what I even need, right? Like I say, we don't know what we don't know. So at AnaOno, it's like, I don't want somebody to have to discover what it is that they need. I want to be as helpful as I can up front to be able to say, I know you love the lace styles. I love them too, but like, you're just not ready for it yet. You know, like, let's get you comfortable. Let's get you safe. Let's get you well, you know, because like well handled, because I think like if you feel good, you are going to heal better.
Yes.
Because everything is connected. Our hearts, our minds, our souls, our bodies, we are intertwined with ourselves. So if one of those cylinders is broken down, whether that be your mind because you don't know how to dress yourself, whether it be your heart because you don't feel beautiful, whether it be your spirit because you feel like the world's against you, or it's your body because it's, you know, scarred and mangled, like we have to rebuild ourselves. And that's like the pillars of trying to get us to that next point, whatever that next point might be.
God, I wish I could have said it on that marketing meeting where you figured out all of those things.
Oh my God. You know, sometimes it just comes to me and I'm like, oh, this is the thing. Then I go out to my team. I'm like, am I crazy?
They're like, no, you're the best. Gosh, we are almost out of time. So we could talk for days. What is upcoming next for you and AnaOno?
Oh, well, you know, I'm just really excited to continue our work. What's next is, trust me, I have a few tricks up my sleeve. So just wait for those. I'm not going to announce any here because they're all in R&D and taking a lot of extra time and work. But
well, I'll just have to have you back when you're ready, because there's still so much we didn't talk about.
I'll be back. I'll always come back. You know, I just, my goals are set on being as accessible to all patients and survivors around the world. And that is my goal. We should be launching, hopefully by the time this podcast comes out, we should be a target on target.com.
Nice.
Really big opportunity for us will be like, I think the only mastectomy bra online.
That's huge.
For their collection, and which is like, brings me so much joy because there's so many people that are probably searching and seeking and looking out those solutions. We launched on Third Love earlier this year as their post-surgery bra, which was a huge moment for us as a brand and me personally and professionally. We've got stores around the world that are starting to reach out to us to carry our garments, whether they're in hospitals or, you know, centers or stores and boutiques. I mean, it's just, to me, I feel so fortunate because like the thing that breaks my heart the most is when I receive an email from like somebody in India that tells me that they have no choices, they have no access, they have no ability to find what it is that they need, how uncomfortable that they are. And I just want to be like, we can get there. We can be there for you. Just like, tell me how I get to India, you know?
Tell me how I get there and I'll make it happen.
And I'll make it happen. Let me do the hard work. But it's just, you know, that compounds on itself. And I don't want it to be just a privilege that we have here in the United States or like Canada or developing countries or whatever. Like I want it to be about the community.
Well, you are 100% doing that. So tell our listeners where they can find you online and on socials.
Well, you can get us online at anaono.com, and that is ANAONO.com. You can follow us on all the socials at AnaOno Intimates. And if you're interested in engaging and following my own personal cancer and business story, you can follow me at DAYNADONO on Instagram. And we're always here for you. You really are never alone. So just reach out, throw us a comment, send us some love, provide a suggestion, whatever you got, we're here to listen.
Well, Dana, thank you so much for being here today. It has been my pleasure to get to know you and more about AnaOno. And I definitely want to have you back when you're ready to do your new launch. So that would be great.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. And thank you so much for all the hard work that you guys are doing as well.
Well, thank you. So listeners, if you or a loved one need our services, please go to breastfriends.org and check out patient programs. You can make a donation on our website or by texting BF Radio to 414-444. Sorry, chemo brain or cancer brain. I never even had chemo. Look how the words just come out crazy sometimes. Cancer brain. 41444 to help ensure that women do not go through cancer alone. If you would like to be my guest or send me your warrior story, please email me at michellebeck@breastfriends.org. You can find our show on the Voice America Health and Wellness channel or wherever you get your podcasts. And now you can also watch on the Breast Friends YouTube channel. So remember, we will be back next week, and we rise by lifting each other.